Holding down the fort in Springfield is Mark
What's up, good
Holmes.
people? Mark Holmes here, and as always, I appreciate you guys. I've got Game Time Brian joining me tonight as we discuss the new Dallas Cowboys, or is this just the same old shit that we've been getting? Um, I'm still setting this thing up. I'm back home at my man cave here, and we've got our selectively aggressive t-shirt on today. And yes, we're being selectively aggressive. And let me get Game Time Brian. I started talking to Game Time Brian because Game Time, how are you doing today, man?
Doing wonderful. I'm doing wonderful. I'm going to pull up your chat as well, but I'm
Okay.
doing good, man.
So let me address a couple of things here on the chat early. Of course, I got to say, Holly Pierce, what's going on? Dirty Sanchez, hey. Logan, I haven't actually talked about the Eagles much, to be quite honest with you. And I've got a Chief fan here, Chiefs Country with a K. Dude, got to use Philly 500 for views. There is a clip of Philly 500 melting down, but that's my son. I can't have my son on here. I promote my family. I don't see where there's a problem here with that, but everybody do their thing. My cousin Eddie B, it won't change. I can't believe in his bullshit. Not only that I
Hey,
refuse to
Hallie.
believe in it, he has his dad and it's shown nothing in the last 30 years. No Jimmy Johnson equals no rings. So that's the setup for you, Brian. Brian, how have you been, man?
I've been doing good, man. Doing good. Just putting in the work at work and getting ready for the next 4 days, Mark. We start live tomorrow on the channel at 3 o'clock. I'm leaving work early to come home, and just so happens that it fell on my 3 day weekend. So
Oh,
I will
good.
be live streaming every day for the combine. We'll be talking about everything.
You have any hosts joining you, or are you just going to be doing it
I
onesie?
might do a Zoom call here and there, but yeah, I figured you could join or you can go
Okay.
live. We can mix whatever. I know you said you're going to be busy, but
Um, yeah, I've got to run to Richmond in the morning early and come back, and then I got to take somebody to the doctor for an ultrasound, and I'll probably actually be back home by 3 or so. So I'll be able to watch that. I do have a whole kitchen that I do need to build, so I might be in my workshop for part of the time doing some work there and things. So
when's the last time you were in there?
it looks like a tornado's gone off in there, man. I've got to clean the place up just before I can even start building these cabinets. But I'm happy I have work to do. So speaking of work, how you feeling about Catboy? Let me start out there. Let me let you get the anger out first, okay?
Um, Listen, man, I have a problem. I've had a problem with Stephen Jones for years. It's me and you have had our thing regarding him. You were loving him, and then you weren't loving him, and like until I see something, I'm not believing it. Okay, it's a lot of talk at this point. Obviously, I'm excited of what I'm hearing, but right now, Mark, it's all about I need to see something. Like talk is cheap at this point, right? Talk is cheap.
Well, now, Brian, I want you to understand here, since we've had this Super Bowl drought here that people have been talking about, I've been bitch slapped around a lot here, and I've had to do some soul searching and dealing with the empathy of all the fans and things, and they understand they have a right to be upset, and you, for one, definitely have a right to be upset that we haven't done anything. But, we're trying to make some changes here. I think I've wrestled some of the control from my dad. I've before I used to throw him against the wall. That didn't seem to work. So now we've locked him in a closet. So that's why you're not seeing him doing any press conferences, because we've literally just put him out to pasture. And I've taken on the title of being co-owner of the Dallas Cowboys with my sister and Jerry Jones Jr. and stuff, and we're doing a hostile takeover. And since we're having to stand guard and take our time there at the door to make sure he doesn't get out, because he's kind of like a rat, he'll just gnaw his way through the door and things. We can't do all the things that me and my dad used to do, so we're getting people in positions to do a job for us, and we hope that these things will pay dividends.
Well, I got something that you can pay dividends, Mr. Jones. Maybe if you go out in free agency and actually assign some players, and I'm not talking about bringing your own, sir. I'm talking about that is expected. Good teams find a way to bring back their own, whoever you deem necessary to bring back. I need you to go out into free agency, and I need you to be aggressive in getting a linebacker and a cornerback for me before the draft. Can you do that, Steven?
Well,
Steven.
see, Brian, you got to understand here. We believe in our own guys, except when they want to get paid. Because you could see that last year, we had issues to trying to get Dak Prescott signed, and then we had to play little old Trey Lance at $5.3 million, and we had to let some players go. So, this year we realize that with the empathy that's coming from the fans, and I got to tell you, you YouTubers have been really keeping a foot on my ass and making me look kind of small. We've realized that we first got to start with keeping our true good players. So we've got a plan here with Shoddy that we're going to try and get Osa and Digazula signed, and maybe we'll get Micah Parsons under contract, and we'll get a little bit of money, and we'll be selective. We're not going to go out here like the Eagles and just willy-nilly bringing in a whole bunch of players and stuff. But we'll be selective in trying to fill in some of these holes. But understand, we believe in trusting the process of what the Dallas Cowboys are.
Bobby Babinski, thank you for the super chat. What's scarier, Jerry or Steven in charge? All lies. Yeah, Bobby, congrats, but we don't know what's going on. Again, me and Mark got into this a couple summers ago, and at the time, I got sucked in. Now, listen, it all sounds good, Mark. It all sounds good, but I don't know that I believe it until I see it. It's like it's like the kid who cried wolf. You know what I mean? Like, you lie so much that when you finally telling the truth, I don't know. I don't know whether I can believe you. Actions are going to speak louder than words. Okay, I want to see. I watched your video this morning while getting ready for work.
Which one?
And you said that he was going, and I heard the same thing, and I'm glad you picked up on it. Stephen Jones is working on Osa Odighi. He actually let out more than he should, but he wants to get a deal done ASAP. Well, thank you. Thank you. That's the way it always should be, Mr. Jones.
Well,
That's the way it always
when you consider last year, the first free agent signing, including our own, was our long snapper, which was the very last team to make a move. We don't normally do this kind of stuff. Normally, they're getting ready to go on vacation. Mary Ann Crochet Hands, what's up? And Karen Dugan, how are you doing, Karen? They don't normally do this stuff. To actually talk about saying we want to keep Rico, we want to keep Jordan Lewis, who's on vacation with his girl. He saw some pictures posted on Twitter. It looks like he's got no worries going on right now. And that they're going to talk with DeMarcus Lawrence and see where he's at. They may try and lowball him, bring him back for another year. If not, just go ahead and let him go. The fact that they're actually trying to keep these guys versus last year was just like, fly, be free.
They want to keep him, though. But last year,
they didn't last year.
Last year, it was like, I don't know, right? Everything was, I don't know. Again, I'm a little annoyed that, what was that? I don't understand why we have to all happen at once. Everything has to happen because I know Ultra's in the house and it's like, they usually get stuff done to combine. He's right. But they haven't done that as of late.
They've never done anything. They haven't done anything at the combine. I remember
all the agents are there. Well, okay, you guys are going to be some busy bees. Now, I don't know if you noticed. Stephen Jones got a tan lines. He's got tan lines.
Does it? Well, good. Get it out of the way. Well, good. Get it out of the way early. But here, the last time I remember them actually talking about combine and doing some work was with D-Law. I remember he came back, when they finally started working with D-Law, they said, we talked to his agent, and, we thought that we were going to get a deal for about $18 million. Now we're talking about 21, and we don't know where that came from. So you originally started talking at the number of 18 at the combine, and then you let it fester. And, I'm sure the agent got tired of having to negotiate and work at it and said, you know what, fuck y'all, I'm going to get 21. And that's what they ended up doing on that contract.
Yeah.
And I feel like Micah has put his hand out to say, hey, we're partners. Let's do this thing and get it done. If I don't get it done soon, then you know what I say? F you. Give me the whole bag. I'm not settling for chump change then.
Well, this is my thing with your boy Catboy. My thing is he allows it to get too close to these guys actually being free, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's way too close. If you're a player that maybe you're a little jaded or listen, at the end of the day, it's about getting paid. These guys are close. Osa is very close to being a free agent. How bad does he want to be a Dallas Cowboy?
Yeah.
We're going to see. Because if they try and lowball him, he ain't coming back. I think if they offer him a fair deal, he'll stay. But at the end of the day, the star isn't holding people there anymore. It's not just about the star. You got to pay these people.
Well, it's funny because when I had Momo on here last week, and you got Stephen A. Smith saying Micah needs to shut up and get the bag. I don't know that, yes, he can get the bag. But I think what more than anything else, Micah recognizes that my off the field stuff will be bigger and better because I'm a Dallas Cowboy.
Right.
If Micah was with the Carolina Panthers, would anybody care about his podcast? If he was drafted originally by Carolina and he said, hey, it's going to be the Micah Parsons podcast, nobody watch it. Yeah. So he recognizes, and I'm sitting here.
Would not be having all new graphics.
No, especially. Oh well, they're redoing the whole. They messed up the whole app. I'm having a hard time. It won't half load for me. Yeah. But they of course have HBO Max now as a sponsor.
Yeah.
So when you think about Shannon Sharp making $500,000, or I think $6 million just on the Cat Williams interview, and he's doing like 1 million views a day.
Yeah.
You're talking about Micah Parsons probably is going to be making $10-15 million just doing Bleacher Report on the side and being the president of stuff. So he recognizes being here with the Dallas Cowboys makes that happen. He goes elsewhere, nobody gives a rat's ass. So for him, he also recognizes if I win a Super Bowl here after long as it's been, I'll be a god.
Yeah.
So that's where, people will say, well, you need to try and get every nickel. No, actually I don't. I'm good. I'm going to, I got my side gig that's paying me a boatload of money and I want to keep that thing going. And he needs that thing to go with the Cowboys. So I'm in agreement there, but you still don't want to sit here and be punked and waiting around doing the same thing. The things that I've seen differently, and this is a conspiracy theory, or you can take it however you want to, but I feel like this was the last hurrah for Jerry Jones to do whatever he wanted to do. That they just kind of let Jerry, you're running the ship.
What do you mean, last year?
This last year, we're going all in and this, that, and the other. We're going to sign Dak. He did the whole thing with Clarence Hill that, there ain't nobody better than me at running. I've done shooting and shit and everything else, and nobody's, can fix it better than me. And that Jerry Jones was the platform, that Jerry Jones was out there like crazy. Now, all of a sudden, the biggest thing that I saw that was small was the opening press conference for Brian Schottenheimer. That Brian Schottenheimer was the first person to actually talk. It wasn't Jerry going through doing his whole diatribe first and, here's my coach. It was Brian Schottenheimer. Jerry still did his diatribe, but it was after Schottenheimer had went through his whole family lineage, his feeling with his players and everything else. And then it was like Jerry took a second step.
Yeah.
And Stephen Jones, of course, everybody had Stephen Jones, vice or co-owner. And nobody clapped. And it was, and then the air quotes. I think that was the moment that everything may have shifted, if it did shift. Stephen Jones literally being embarrassed. Brian Schottenheimer being the lead. And now...
Again, and real quick, Mark, let me get to these two super chats. Bobby Babinski, I heard Steven just bought a 1995 Bronco.
Okay.
I'm with you, Game Time. Talk is cheap. Yeah, Mark, here's my issue with Stephen Jones. And, again, I'm hoping upon hope that you're that you're right. That when Jerry steps aside, which he ain't going, he's going to have to be 6 foot under before he's not the general manager. But we all know that it's a group effort anymore. But Jerry's final word is very strong.
Oh, I agree.
It's very strong. So, if he wants something, he gonna get what he wants. But I didn't like what I heard when they asked him about using the franchise tag. Again, this is what I talk about: the winning teams. And I know people hate when I bring up the Eagles, but why the Eagles are good is they signed Jalen Hurts early. Okay, it was a risk. It was a risk. It was something that Jerry Jones may have done years ago. Remember, they signed him early, and now he's making $50 million.
They signed him. Here's the thing: they not only signed him early, they also shifted the money way down the road. Because see, in 2029, he's got a $94 million cap hit.
97,
something like that.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: you look at it with the salary cap going up over $50 million the last 2 years. Another 4 years, it may be up another $75 million.
Right.
So you're paying him that money on the contract today, but you're not actually paying for it until when it's cheaper.
But I heard him talk about using the franchise tag as a tool. Listen, I got news for you. Either you're going to sign Osa long term, or you're not signing him at all. Because once you franchise him, Mark, you're not signing him next year to any kind of deal that makes sense.
What you could do,
because it starts at the franchise tag.
Well, true, but what you could be doing is just trying to buy some time to get the whole deal
Again,
done.
There's no need for that.
I agree.
If you truly want to get good, I got news for all the haters out there. This is a long process. This is relatively the same team who's won 3 straight 12-win seasons. To some degree, Stephen Jones is right. The amount of injuries that they have was ridiculous. But again, you had the least amount of money spent in free agency over the last 3 years in actual dollars.
What if you had actually gotten a couple of ringers?
I mean, Eagles had $60-some million in dead money. You had 20. They tripled you in dead money, meaning we don't care. We're identifying now that this is a time to win. I'm going to go out and get the best friggin' free agent running back out there.
Yeah, there you go.
And that's what they did. And Stephen Jones let his dad, whoever was running the show, it was horrible last year.
We'll bring back Zeke for nostalgia.
We're done. We signed CD. Mark, but
the worst part about that
this team is not run good. You could run it better than them.
When Jerry's literally at the Super Bowl saying, we paid Dak. We're surprised we're not here. It's like, did you think that was all you had to do? Was sign Dak and you were done? Seriously?
Dallas still stinks. Acknowledge your champ.
Well, thank you.
I acknowledge you more than most. So, but...
we got the haters in the house.
Shit.
Okay.
We have moved on. Thanks for the super chat.
Did you see the ratings of the organizations, basically, from the NFLPA?
I did not.
Okay, so what most people went through, because they basically took 1,600 plus NFL players, and they basically ranked their facilities and stuff, what the players thought about, everything from the training.
What I saw late this afternoon about Dallas and McCarthy, or that was something?
Yeah, now that's the part that everybody's taking out of that thing, is they're talking about how Mike McCarthy, he was given an A.
I didn't read it.
Okay, so as far as the players and everything else, he was well liked, which is kind of interesting after, of course, they got fired. The ownership got a B. The way they treat the family members was an A-, which wasn't bad. But the part on here that nobody's talked about to me, which is a big red flag, was training facility and trainers was like a D+ and a C.
Really?
Yeah. So now, let's be clear. Now, the weight room ended up being like a B+ or an A- or something like that. The locker room was an A. And things. So the things people see, the cafeteria and food were like B+. The things that people see that we saw on the tour, remember how they were telling us, oh yeah, the players, they get charged monthly to eat at the cafeteria and how nice it looked and everything. And of course, we looked in the window. We messed up. We didn't knock on the glass. We were supposed to knock on the glass, man. when we did the tour. But those got A's. But the training facilities and the trainers were below average. And when you think about some of the things that we hear, how long did we hear that not Jordan Lewis, Deron Bland? Oh yeah, he's getting close. He's getting close. Didn't we hear that for like 2 months?
Yeah, that's another thing. The transparency. I get, there's some gamesmanship, Mark. I do get that, but not enough to where you're really only hurting your own fans, because we get this false sense of, we got this.
D-Law's going to be back soon, so he's going to be putting the line, and then he never plays again.
Back, you know
right.
what I mean? It's just, again, and I don't know why they do that. I guess it's to keep a good, not deal with the problems until the problems are staring you in the face type of deal.
Mm-hmm.
Dallas gave me a free lunch on the stadium tour. Well, Bobby, you should feel very lucky, bro. Thanks for the super
You didn't
chat.
really get when you did. How much was the stadium tour?
When I did the stadium tour, it was like $50.
Yeah,
I think maybe. Yeah, I think it was around there. But it was ridiculous. We had somebody who didn't even know where the hell they were going. But yeah,
so it wasn't as good as the one we did.
We went on. Well, you were waiting before.
No. Remember, we did it when we went to Stewart's.
No, we did that was a Star Tour.
Oh, you're talking. Okay,
tour.
my bad. I thought you were talking about the Star.
Ridiculously long because they had the salutes of service, and half the shit that you paid for wasn't open, so they were just walking us around suites all over the place. It was neat, but we had to get down the road. But it's let's put it this way: I don't think I'll do it again. I do like the Star Tour, but unless I have time to waste, I don't know that I would do it again.
Unless you just have disposable income that you just want to give to Jerry.
It's not even that expensive to do, Mark. It's just the stadium tour was very disappointing in my opinion. The Star was better, but
the stadium looks a little bit more worn than in past years. It's not like it was 5-6 years ago. When I'm walking on the stoneways outside, the stones are getting a little uneven on the walkways and things, and you got pieces of metal falling out the ceiling and stuff when you open up the roof. It's nice, it's incredible, but it's not. Oh yeah, it's starting to get it's showing its age somewhat, kind of like Jerry and Stephen Jones. So is the takeaway you are you're selectively aggressive in thoughts of thinking they've changed?
This is the optimistic time of year. Of course, I'm thinking that they've changed. I'm thinking that the noise is so loud, Mark, that they can't hide from it. They cannot hide from what happened last year. And he was almost embarrassed to talk about injuries, like you should. Now, let's be honest. We had too many injuries. But let's also be honest.
He tried to I think he tried to blame their inactivity on, we got all the injuries.
The real people know that we weren't good enough to get to the Super Bowl if we didn't have any injuries. We may have made the playoffs. Like I will definitely say that we still would have made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
But we were not a Super Bowl team.
No.
Okay, it takes some drastic measures to be able to get to that next level, like what the Eagles have done. I mean, let's not forget, Eagles collapsed a year prior and then went ahead and doubled down and went out and got players. Had a hell of a draft.
Yeah.
And they combined it with Zach Bond and,
they hit on the draft.
Barkley. They went and did everything right.
And their Georgia defensive players finally started coming through. They were a bunch of thugs.
Jordan Davis. But again, I'm optimistic this time of year. But when you ask me in totality, you got to prove it to me. Obviously, if they do nothing, it's going to be another miserable year, Mark. I don't care. Listen, as long as we have hope, I'm good. But if we go with the same business as usual, when you know as well as I do, I did a video last week, Mark, where I literally did a few moves, nothing drastic.
Oh, it doesn't take a whole lot.
Almost $100 million, easy.
Yeah,
it's not hard, people. It's really not hard. Now, my question to you before we dig into this a little more is, what's your opinion on how they're going to designate Zach Martin? Please explain what I'm missing, because a pre-June 1 cut, you save $14 million. Now, you do get a lot of dead money. but you save $14 million
No,
on this
no,
year's
no.
cap.
Actually, what he's still on the roster right now, but it's basically. Let me pull it up real quick.
That's what I was saying. I'm very
What happens is because it becomes dead money. Basically, it's $14 million right now, but after June 1st, he'll end up going on the retired list, and it'll end up being $13 million of a dead money hit.
Yeah,
So they'll
because if
save
you go
basically
on
about
over
$1
the cap
million.
now and look at it, and you go pre and post, you would say, why wouldn't you just cut him or just release him now? You do get more of a dead hit. It is a big dead number, but you could stretch that out. But you get an instant 14 million. Now, again, that's the one thing I didn't really understand. But everything else, shoot. Damone Clark, he's making 4 point. I mean, you'll say 4.4 million.
Yeah.
He didn't even play last year.
You can
Bye-bye.
redo a lot of contracts and things.
Yeah.
So the way it is right now with Zach Martin is technically, if you ended up cutting him pre-June 1st, you'd end up having a $26 million dead money hit. His cap number, if he stays on the roster, which is voidable money, is 10.65.
Right.
So the problem is you still have $26 million you have to deal with.
But
If
can
you
you
end
stretch
up
that out?
making him a retired, what happens is it ends up being $13 million this year on dead money.
Okay.
And that's it. So you'll save $1 million of the $14 million hit that you would take if you just cut him.
How much do you save on the salary cap?
You end up saving then the rest of that. So you're not paying the 26. So it's 13 million is done. It's just
Then that's probably
that
what'll
1
happen
year.
then. Yeah.
So it's kind of screwy, but at the moment, as far as dead money goes, we've got $20 million because D-Law has some of that money is right there right now. Right now we got 8.7 with Michael Gallup, and that has got to be that and Trey Lance are the two dumbest moves we've made, and trading Amari Cooper. Okay,
I have another one.
Which one?
Another
Mingo?
fourth-round pick for Jonathan Mingo.
Okay, so 4. Maybe that's what we need to do. Top 5 worst moves the Cowboys have done in the last 5 years.
Listen, and I like Mingo, but he's not worth a fourth-round draft pick as of his production right now. I would have offered him a 5th or no deal. They obviously wanted to move on from him. I mean, you make a mistake. Your boy Catboy makes a mistake with Trey Lance and Jerry. Obviously, I think that was a Jerry move. Because Catboy don't know the players. You have DeAndre Swift. His agent calls and says we're trying to trade him. And he goes, he puts him on hold for 2 days. And they trade him to the Eagles. But again, it makes no sense. None. None.
All right. Well, it sounds like the Cowboys have a plan for the offensive line, whether you like it or not. I think Terrence Steele will be better in a run-heavy offense versus a pass-heavy one. That's where everybody kept saying that he was going to be cut. He's going to be cut. And I said, I don't know if that's necessarily going to be the case because, if you're going to go ahead and be just a straight-up passing offense the way we were with Mike McCarthy, then, he's not the best guy to have. But if you're going to turn around and end up having a balanced offense, then that leaves the air of mystery on whether or not I'm pass rushing. It's a whole lot different if I know I'm rushing the quarterback versus I may have to hold up in the run because that little hesitation helps the offensive lineman. So I figured that we don't want to lose 2 offensive starting linemen again like we did last year so that he would be coming back. The one that actually kind of gets me is that they seem to be okay with Tyler Guyton still being the left tackle, that they think that they can coach him up.
Yeah, well, I don't have a problem with you coaching them up, but you need to have a plan in place. Now, the one thing I do like, I do like Akeem Richards a lot. He actually started and was a big-time upgrade. But I think Guyton will have every opportunity to earn that job. It's not a talent thing. It's more of a I'm hearing a little bit that he's a little immature. That's not good. So he needs to mature up pretty quick.
I was talking to
He's
Charlton.
a beast, and he's raw, but he needs to get it together. Again, it's a late first round pick. They gambled. And as of now, it's looking shaky, but he's going to have every opportunity. So that's it. It is what it is. I'll be curious to see what they do with Cooper Beebe if he's going to move to right guard because that's the hint that's coming, and that Brock Hoffman is going to be re-signed and he's going to be the center. I kind of like him at center, Cooper Beebe. That's
Hmm.
just me. I thought he did a wonderful job, but and maybe go out and get a guard in free agency. I would rather that, and then you could have Brock Hoffman as a backup, re-sign him as a swing. He could be your backup center. He could help out a guard. That's what I would rather do. Everybody wants to move the guy back to guard. I think
Well,
he
I think
was unbelievable
here's
last year.
here's what my thinking is. Okay, or at least if I was the GM, if I was the GM here and I was running things,
Might be better.
you know what I would actually try and do is, the players that we have that are uninjured that played well for us last year, I'd like to bring him back. Rico, he doesn't have a torn ACL, bringing him back and with him getting 4.6 yards a carry with this shit line that we had is actually pretty good. And maybe if we had actually run him as the lead back all season, maybe he would have had 1,400 yards and we'd be looking differently at him. Like we'd have to actually pay him a whole lot of money. But bringing him back kind of says, okay, we got a running back. If we look and we move around our offensive line and say we've got guys that can start and play and all that, then okay, we're good. We've got Jalen Tolbert. He had over 600 yards. He's not ideal to be our number two, but he's a start. And we bring back Osa, and we bring back Jordan Lewis, and we bring back Eric Kendricks. We kind of have a starting lineup. And then when we go into the draft, we can go ahead and we can just look and say, what is the most impactful player that falls our way? There's going to be a position there where you're going to get the number one prospect in that position. And we don't know where it's going to be. When we've gone through in the past and we've had to say we got to get a left tackle because Tyron Smith is going to New York to just cash a check, we kind of reached for Tyler Guyton, and that looks like it's a pooch screw. When we didn't think we had any pass rushers before D-Law became D-Law, we had to grab a guy. So, we got the length that we liked in Taco Charlton, and that was a reach there. And we should have taken the shorter TJ Watt, but, we listened to Rod Martinelli, and those were positions where we reached and we got the pooch screwed. So this year we go ahead, we say we've got starters across the board. We can always upgrade. There's going to be that second tier free agency where, we love those value picks there, and we got the draft, and, with that pick, maybe we end up moving back and we end up getting a Genti to go ahead and pair up, and we get an extra pick that we screwed the pooch on.
You screwed the pooch, all right. You definitely screwed the pooch. You screwed it bad.
Does my Steven speak bother you there?
It's fine.
Fuck you,
I
Steve.
started to go numb after a while. Bobby says, on a serious note, I think you're rebuilding. Well,
Of course,
yeah,
you're always
of course.
rebuilding. Okay. I mean, when you had as many players go out as we did, from the time we let go 9 starters last year, we were rebuilding. I don't know how you say you weren't rebuilding. You let go 9 starters, and how we thought by any stretch of the imagination letting go Dorrance Armstrong, Dante Fowler, Stephon Gilmore, Jonathan Hankins. These are all guys that started for us. Losing Leighton Vander Esch. That's 5 people that you had as starters on your defense alone. How did we think that not replacing anybody and our first couple of picks were really offensive linemen except for Marshawn Nealon? We lost so much. It was a rebuild. I don't see how you couldn't say it wasn't.
Yeah. It was already a rebuild going into last year, but the lack of moves. Because let's remember, 2 years ago, right? We made trades. We brought in Brandon Cooks and
Stephon Gilmore.
We were
And both of
actually
which
pretty
paid
excited
off.
about that. So again, and we won 12 games. So, but Drew makes a comment, and I just wonder why he thinks it. Is it because of the injury? He's 30 years old, Drew. I mean, he's saying this is the year that Dak starts to decline. I mean, again, I've learned one thing about Dak Prescott. You never bet against a man.
No.
I'm not saying he's going to win playoff games. I'm not. But what I am saying is, he's a hard worker. He takes a lot of pride in shutting people up. And we'll see. Again, I don't know that I see a decline in him. If he's injury prone, then okay. Yeah, we'll see. We thought Matt Stafford was injury prone. There you go. You got to.
Hey, Mark, are you okay? You're a bit selectively aggressive in your opinions today. Just kidding. Dope. Live game time. Do you guys think the Cowboys will trade up in the draft, stay up? I don't think they'll trade up. And I am never a trade up in the first round kind of guy. I still am burned from that Morris Claiborne trade up where we took a first and a second to move up to get the best defender in the draft, and he was injured coming out of college and, was made of glass. I look at and say, Travis Frederick, we traded back for him, got him, ended up getting a third-round pick. We got Terrence Steele. Micah Parsons, we traded back. We ended up getting Golston with the third-round pick. I would rather see at 12, I don't know if the Cowboys are locked in on Genty and they want him. I think that there's possibility that they might move back a couple of spots and might still be able to get their guy and get an extra pick. And at this point, I think picks are better. I think about
Genty's gone.
Well, maybe. But you think about last year, we traded back for Guyton and we got Cooper Beebe.
Yeah.
Where would we have been if we had not done that?
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. What have we been if you would just stayed and took, and I haven't analyzed the draft, but if you look, what if you would have taken somebody else?
I mean, I think Beebe was our best draft pick last year. Am I wrong?
Oh, absolutely. As of right now.
The juggernaut.
Just real quick, Drew says, I always bet against Dak, have not lost. What? I'm not saying what you mean. He has an unbelievable record. Are you talking because he hasn't won?
I'll tell you what.
Or?
How about you give me a team like the Eagles?
All of a sudden,
give me a team like the Eagles, and let's see if Dak can do it. If he can't do it with that, then okay, fine. But I can't honestly. You know what? What pisses me off?
Comes from.
What pisses me off is we can sit here and we can look and say the Cowboys don't do anything in free agency. They don't spend. They are like the least spending team in free agency since they got Dak Prescott. And somehow we're bad because it's Dak Prescott's fault. Come on, people. They let go 9 freaking starters last year.
Dax is a Super Bowl winning quarterback, but
not on the teams that we're building.
I mean, in the last 3 years, he's been an MVP runner-up, and I think he's been high up, the year prior, and then he got hurt. He doesn't win a lot of playoff games, but
Cowboys don't win a whole lot of playoff games.
Very good quarterback. I don't understand. His record against the division is unbelievable. His overall record in general is unbelievable. Yeah, he's got a 2-5 playoff record. I hear you, Drew. But to say you win, like bet against what? Because he has a winning record against the Eagles. So if you bet straight up against the Eagles, you would lose.
You're going to lose there.
I just don't know where that's coming from. Dak would have won the Super Bowl with with
the Eagles team, yeah.
That's what Bobby says. Thanks, Bobby. Yes, I got you, brother. Again, I'm not. Now's not a good time for me with Dak because unless Mark, I was thinking about this today. Maybe he's gotten some sort of assurances. Maybe he's got
assurances
where he's not coming out and like I want and being more vocal. Because I'm giving Micah a lot of credit because Micah's opening his mouth, and he don't even have his deal yet, saying I need this, I need that, I need this. Mm-hmm. And I know your opinion on that, but Dak, he did allude to a big move. He did. That was a few months ago. So maybe he knows something, and he don't feel the need to have to come out and say, "All right, let's get our ducks in a row now," because it's a multi-step process, people. You have to, like Mark says, you need to get Osa done, or don't franchise him because that doesn't do any good. Dallas is Dallas uses those tags more than any team in the league, and it's to their detriment because when it comes time to finally, redoing a deal, you're screwing yourself. Do it now.
Right. Well, not only that. Here's the thing: if I were the GM. If we deem that Osa is a need, I could make the argument that maybe Osa, if he's $22 million, that maybe we're better off spending the money elsewhere. Maybe. You can make that argument. Be that as it may. I'm trying to get Osa done. I'm trying to hurry up and get Micah done. but I'm also looking to try and get Deron Bland and Tyler Smith.
Tyler Smith, yeah.
Because here's the thing. You think Tyler Smith is not going to be a good player? I mean, that one is one I can say, I think I'll gamble on that guy being okay in 3 or 4 years.
I haven't flexed about it. I don't like flexing too much. I like to stay under the radar when it comes to that. But Tyler Smith has done nothing but make Pro Bowls since he's come in the league.
Right, and all pros. Now, here's where you look at it. Okay, so last year the franchise tag for interior offensive linemen was $20.8 million. It's 23.5 this year.
Yes,
right.
Basically 24. Yeah.
So right now he's on the 4th year of his rookie deal. It's only $4 million. What you understand is you're basically signing an extension. Okay, so let's say we're saying, Tyler, we're paying you $23 million a year, which is that top tier money, or even 24, right? We know that the price is going to cost more next year. So Dak Prescott, $60 million this year, was $55 million the year before.
Yes.
Okay,
that's what I said.
But here's the thing: when you do that extension, you're giving him the bonus money, and here you go, have your money and all that. You're not actually paying that on the cap until down the road.
Yeah.
In tomorrow's money. That's where it doesn't make any sense for them to keep waiting till the 5th-year option to do these things.
Well, and I keep telling people, and they don't understand. Just real quick, if I was a player, I'd be frustrated to sign Mike. I would be frustrated to sign Micah. If I was a player, I'd be frustrated. Yeah. But my thing is, Mark, is this. It's hard for people to understand that when you sign Micah this year, he's going to make $35 million, whatever.
Yeah, they don't understand how the cap works.
Yeah, they're going to save a lot of money. For each contract that you re-sign, you're going to save a lot of money.
The first year is really low.
So, again, this is where you got to take advantage. Now, it comes at a cost, but the good teams know how to. It's not just doing contracts early. It's the timing of contracts. You can't have them all up on the same year. You got to kind of stagger them out a little bit. And this all goes into your guy, the Catboy, and his buddy from Landmark Grill, right? He was in charge of food service. He
trained the servers
with the Cowboys, and now he's running our cap for all intents and purposes. It looks like it. Because it looks like you guys are thinking you're way behind the curve. Okay, you're way behind the curve, and there was a time we were ahead of the curve, but those days are long gone. Now it's reactionary. Oh my God, we have to do this. Take risk.
Okay.
The only risk they want to take, Mark, is with injured players. That's it.
All right. Let me kind of explain something to people right now. Okay. So last year, A.J. Brown signed a 3-year, $96 million extension with the Eagles. Okay, right? If we go back and look at his cap numbers, he was $11 million of a cap hit for last year. He's 17.5 this year. 26, he's 23 million. 27, he's 22. So understand, he's getting paid on average 32 million, but his cap number doesn't go over 20 until next year. Not this season now, the following year. Now, that does leave a 2030 avoidable year of 53 million. It's how they've structured to say, we're trying to win now, and we'll kick it down the road 6 years, because in 6 years, the salary cap might be another $250 million.
Yeah.
And so it won't be as big a hit then as it is now. So that's where you understand they've gone through, and they didn't do that just with him, because you have A.J. Brown and you've got Devontae Smith. What was Devontae Smith's contract? He signed a $75 million contract extension.
He took a team-friendly deal.
Yeah, but still. But understand, they have a $32 million a year and a $25 million a year wide receiver on the roster. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We're what ape shit that we couldn't pay CD Lamb. Okay, remember then, they still left enough money to go ahead and sign Saquon Barkley. They paid their quarterback. They didn't wait till the contract was over and everything. They paid it early enough that they had an extra year where they could stretch out the bonus money and they could hide it down the road.
Jalen's contract, if you look at it by year, he's never really, up until, like you said, but he's gone by then. But Mark, he's so young.
Yeah.
They're just going to
ride it out.
The deal.
They're going to ride it out, try and win as many as they can, and then they'll take the dead hit.
Redo the deal, most likely.
Probably he'll get another contract, and they'll have that 97 to deal with. But see, the thing is we had that kind of money to deal with too, but we were dealing with it in 2024 numbers, not 2030.
Play with a gun to his head, saying you're playing on the 5th-year option. Jalen didn't have to play with being franchised and like one hit. I mean, and his guarantees are over. That's why Dak got all but $9 million guaranteed and a no trade clause, which I can't stand it. But that's why he got it.
But see, here's the thing, though.
Our front office don't know how to do contracts.
Okay, this is actually okay. Let me go back a little bit here, because first of all, the Cowboys should have paid him after year 3. They should have done it then. That's when they actually started talking. Yeah, well, we got to get Dak Prescott done. They couldn't get it done after year 3. Year 4, he ended up going to $2 million, and it was like, oh, we're going to try and get it done, and they didn't, and they ended up having to franchise tag him. That was a mistake. Had they gotten it done after year 3, they could have gotten him for under $30 million, and they would have had another year of it being cheap, where they could basically end up moving that money around. But you franchise tagged him, which was a hard number, and then you had to start over from zero. So the first year of his contract was $17 million. The second year was $19 million cap hit. Third year was $26. Well, that was great for those first 3 years, but that money snowplowed back into the end of the contract.
Yeah.
So when they had to redo this contract, they had to allow for all that money that they kept restructuring on top of this deal. So that was a problem, but all that stemmed from them not getting this thing done early.
Yeah, and they do it with everything. Now, all that being said, and this goes to Drew and anybody else that's, it thinks about Super Bowls. Super Bowls, I'm telling you, Super Bowl, in order to win a Super Bowl, it takes it from the top down, okay? It takes from the front office. It starts with the front office. It starts with that. And we've been out front office, people. That's the bottom line. You could say whatever you want about any one player on a team. You could find losers on the Eagles. You could find guys that have been benched for the Super Bowl. You could find guys that have underperformed. But their front office has hit a home run for a few years now. Okay? It may not be a grand slam because everybody makes mistakes. But in order to win a Super Bowl, it takes it. It starts at the front office.
Oh, shit.
What's that?
Okay. Dem Boys Kick just asked me if I was going to go to the CSA show. And at the early returns were, I knew Micah was going to be there. But I'm looking at the list here. The best kicker in football is going to be there.
Brandon Aubrey?
He's going to be there.
Is DeMarcus Ware going to be there?
Let me see who. Let's see.
Damn. I need to get something signed.
Aubrey's getting $80 for a kicker?
He's the best
$80
kicker.
for a kicker?
I thought Jerry was the best GM, but Steven might trump him if you don't flip.
See, Jamar Chase, Boomer Esiason, Marshall Faulk.
No, he's not the GM now.
The playmaker will be there. What's the playmaker? Damn, he's up to 170. Damn.
Yeah, real quick. Bobby, no, Jerry he ain't never going to take that GM label away until he's in the ground. But he ain't running as much as we think. Anyway, go ahead, Mark. So no DeMarcus Ware?
I'm going down. See, Micah Parsons, Emmitt Smith. The old ball coach will be here. Okay.
Who's that?
Danny White will be here.
Ooh, there you go.
That's how much is Danny White? It's April 4th, I believe. Danny White's only 55. I'll have to get some Danny White ones.
That's a Friday.
Hey,
Friday?
No, it's actually it'll be Saturday. April 5th. It's the 5th.
Yeah.
Okay. Ricky Williams will be there. So Cowboys will be Danny White. At the moment, they always add some more. Emmitt Smith, Micah Parsons, Brandon Aubrey,
They'll go.
Michael Irvin, and we'll see. Usually, the first one is typically a lot of the older ones. And you know, some of them, Bob Lilly, he's been doing them like every year, but he's getting up there.
Bob Lilly is.
And
He is getting there.
Randy White used to come all the way, but the last time I saw Randy White, he started having the shakes in his hands really bad. So that's where
Right.
I always
Yeah.
try and go to these and get all the Hall of Famers and things while you can, because you know life is short
It is.
and stuff. All
Yeah,
right,
Randy
so
McIntyre says the front office sucks. I'm sorry, but that's where it starts for me.
it does, and that's where the mistakes that have
Walker
been made.
Wade.
Shout out to Walker Wade. That's
We can
where
only
the
hope
mistakes
things
that have
change
been
with
made.
Steven.
That's where the mistakes have been made in the front office in signing, you know, Jalen Smiths, signing
I just
Michael
think,
Gallups and things.
I mean, I'll ask you like a few questions. I don't know how long you want to go, but what's your thought on Debo Samuel? Do you think? I think it's a perfect fit for the Commanders. I do.
Yeah, he
He's
would
probably
be.
going to be free. I don't see.
I don't think that you're going to find a trade partner.
No.
And the
It's
same
too
thing
much
with
money.
Cooper
Look
Kupp.
up his cap number. You can tell. I mean, they'd have to. It's ridiculous. They save a lot of money by cutting them. I sure hope so, Wade. Randy, you ready for tomorrow, brother? We're gonna be streaming. Starting at 3:00. We're gonna be streaming. We're gonna see. I think it's the defensive lineman tomorrow.
I need to do
I think
that.
it's the D line and linebackers. I believe. I'm not positive, but Debo is 8 months pregnant. Twiz. He looked like he had something going on. I'm not relying on Debo. I wouldn't rely on him. Fly Parks. I mean, we'll see. You know,
I would love to have Debo Samuels in here.
it's
a
D
physical-
line tomorrow. Okay, I thought so.
Get a physical wide receiver. Are you
Yes.
kidding me?
Oh,
As a number
Randy, I
two,
got it. I didn't open yet. I'll open it tomorrow, brother.
Debo. Let's see. Is cap at
Yeah, if he's cut,
is cap?
they save a lot of money.
How is it in 20? It's only 15 million. How is that 15 million 2025? That can't be right. I'm looking at Sports Track.
Now, let me look. Salary cap teams, 49ers. Yeah, right now, Debo right now is his cap number is 15 million. Dead money's 31. If you cut him pre-1, you save 15.
That's not a bad. I mean, shit.
Yeah, but again, they have to resign their quarterback. So
That'll be interesting to see how much he gets. You know,
If you
the fans
cut
are like,
him, yeah.
"Oh, he's going to take 45 to 50." I don't see how that happens.
well, that's the thing. What do you think he's going to make? Because I keep hearing, "Oh, he ain't making more than 40." Are you kidding me?
Are you when you look at Trevor Lawrence
Yeah, he's
and
making
instead of
50
getting
million.
55?
Same old story, same old song and dance.
How
my
do you
friend.
how do you tell Brock Purdy,
Thanks,
who's
Bob.
been to a Super Bowl, that you're going to make less than Trevor Lawrence or even Dak Prescott?
No. Again, and I'm actually surprised because I think they should have addressed this last year. Mr. Irrelevant should have gotten paid last year, and it may have saved him. Maybe not. I don't know. But I mean, again, I'm surprised that the Niners have gotten themselves in this situation because they're going to have to let go. They can say it however they want to say it. They're getting old on their defensive line. And
They should have already won the Super Bowl
they have
with
some
it.
holes now.
Yeah.
They have some holes. Welcome to our world. So again, you would let a turdy walk, Daz? I don't know, man. The dude's got to a Super Bowl. I mean,
And what are you putting in place of him? Seriously.
I would have signed him last year and it would have been a little cheaper, but I guess they went all in last year and tried to win one more year on the cheap with the quarterback, and they didn't get it done. You remember they went to the Super Bowl last year. They lost. That's the problem. You can't
Right.
lose. So, listen, it's going to play out the way it's going to play out, and we're going to be here to cover it. But, I'm excited. I'm cautiously optimistic. How's that? But,
Yeah.
I'm tired of seeing I'm just tired of, seeing Steven use the air quotes. Just shut them down for the year, please. Jesus, he comes off so pompous sometimes. Stephen Jones and his friggin' air quotes. Them boy kicks. What's up, brother?
I'm looking up something here real quick here because the Dallas Cowboys team rollover. This has not been counted just yet, but this is the exact NFL calculations for each team. San Francisco has $50 million that's rolling over. Wow. Cleveland has 41 million. New England has 34. Raiders have 33. Lions have 23. Commanders have 19, and the Cowboys have 18.84 million. So that gets us over 20 million on the cap right there with what we currently have at the moment. And once they finally determine, so we could be sitting with about 25 million in cap space as we are currently constructed without signing anybody or releasing anybody. But typically,
100 easy.
Oh no! But here's the thing that people don't seem to understand. I believe last year we were 28 in the red before we started restructuring contracts.
Yes.
So
if I had to ask you,
yeah,
like, what
you have to ask me.
Well, I'm just saying because I know like how the draft is. I know where the heavy spots are and the light spots are. In my opinion, I think you need to go out and get a starting linebacker and a starting corner in free agency. Now, what do you think we need? Because I know that you can go in the draft and trade for a receiver if need be, or draft one depending on how it works. And I know you can get D-line in the draft. I know you can. That's a stud. It's a stud. And I know you can get running back in the draft. So, I mean, if you had to pick a couple spots where you want them to address, not counting our own, I'm not counting Osa, Jordan Lewis, and D-Lo.
I would still like to get a run stuffer. I've got to take care of my defense.
In free agency. Okay. I think that's where the draft, that's what you're going to get. We have so many picks. I think that's where you're going to get the run stuffer. I would be happy to get one.
I'd actually like to get a veteran wide receiver that's not as old as Brandon Cooks.
How about
But give me another weapon for Dak to throw to that can help to spread the field open,
like a Cooper Kupp, right? That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah,
I think.
Cooper Kupp would definitely, if he gets cut, especially because you're doing a new contract. He's the guy that can go across the middle there.
I'll take Javon Law, and I'll take Nick Bolton, like Randy McIntyre says.
Yeah,
Give me Nick Bolton. That would be great.
Yeah.
That way you don't go in because the problem, Mark. Every year we got a team jumping us, stealing our picks because we like to just run our mouth. We got diarrhea of the mouth, and we like to say our needs. And then
everybody knows everybody knows our needs. Everybody's pumping it out there. Our needs.
Like if you I would be on board with bringing Rico in on a 1 or 2 year minimal deal. He's not going to get that much, people. Rico had the same numbers as Tony Pollard.
No, actually, he didn't.
What do you mean?
Tony Pollard only averaged 4.2 yards a carry. Tony Pollard had about 40 more carries.
Yeah, he had.
And they had the exact same number of yards.
Right, that's what I mean. And we got him from a lot less money. I don't think because of how many running backs are in the draft. I think you do re-sign Rico. But I still want to go out and get a young stud.
Yeah.
But that way, if you bring back Rico, Mark, the other teams aren't going to know, well, when are they going to take that running back? Are they going to take it a second? Or are they going to wait? That's the thing. Stop going into the draft with all your needs just flapping in the breeze and everybody sees it. Eagles did it with Dallas Goedert. They jumped us for Dallas Goedert. They did it last year in Buffalo when they selected the tight end that we wanted. That's what happens with us. Why doesn't Dallas put Dak for trade like a Stafford? He's got a no trade clause, Bobby.
God.
He's got a no trade clause. You can get out of it after next year, but it'll be pricey. It's like $67 million in dead after next year. But their plan is to have them. If that's the case, Mark, this is what I don't understand, Mark. If last year was in the books the whole time, then fine. Yeah. I wish they would just tell us we knew. I'm sorry, people, but we knew it was going to be that way. And then we got injured, and then we
explain this one to me, because some of these moves that teams are talking about doing make no sense whatsoever. So you hear that the Rams want to move on for Matthew Stafford, and they'd like to trade him. But then you hear them talking about signing Aaron Rodgers. What?
Yeah, well,
How does that make you better?
there you go. You got another super chat there.
Paul Mick, hope this season's broke-ass media member will get to interview the Joneses, Mark. Okay. What would you ask Jerry Jones? I tell you what I would ask Jerry Jones is,
In a
okay?
nice way.
In a nice way. No, seriously. I saw this video of Stephen Jones from about 8 years ago where he almost had a career in Wendy's. Have you heard that one?
Yes, I did. I watched it on your channel.
Oh, okay.
That was actually good. How did you find that?
I just came across. I saw it. I was like, "Wow!" So, for those who didn't see that video, Stephen Jones, when he was in high school, was supposed to be working and getting himself in better shape, of course, to play football.
Go put your
And while his daddy was at work, decided to have a pool party. So he had about 30 of his friends over there, and as he put it, we were getting wild, music was loud and everything else, and then all of a sudden, the music kind of turned down and everybody kind of stopped, and I looked up, and there's my dad saying, "Come here." Everybody left, the party was over, and he got me to get, some decent clothes on, handed me a suit, and we went over to see Mr. Such and Such at Wendy's and showed me the fries and the grill and everything else and what I was going to be doing, and he was supposed to come to work the next day. But Jerry basically said, "Okay, did you learn anything?" And he said, "Yes, sir." He said after that point, he didn't come within 5 miles of the house when he was supposed to be working. So I'm going to ask Jerry. Jerry, do you have any regrets about not making Stephen work at Wendy's?
Yeah. He's like, I'll try hard.
Lola, Miss Hot Sauce, what's up?
Stephen Jones playing football seems like it's an oxymoron. What's up, Royal?
So that would be my
Royal
question
Riles?
to Jerry on why didn't you drop? Is it too late to drop him off at Wendy's?
Yeah. That was actually like a neat story, And listen, in his time, I love Jerry. I do love Jerry. I just think he's lost his way. He doesn't know how to win anymore. That's all. I mean, I think he wants to win.
In the same way the game passed by Tom Landry
Or Al Davis.
It's past Jerry. And
I
this
love
is where
Jerry,
I think
and I want him. I would want nothing more for him to win a Super Bowl. But again, I just hope he gets away from him being hey Jeff Lee. I hope he gets away from him being stubborn to win his way before he dies that he won one. Jerry, you were a part of it. If you win it, you're going to be a part of it. Again, it's just
oh my goodness, Karen broke the T11, T12, and pulverized T11. Guess I cracked them last month and finished it all the time.
Jesus.
Had surgery on 128 and have had more surgery next couple of weeks. Pain meds ain't helping. Oh my goodness, Karen.
Sorry to hear about that.
I am definitely sorry to hear about that.
Yeah. I had a back issue. I don't know how long it's been, maybe 10 years. I got a narrowing, like a thinning of the L5S1. You see it on an x-ray, it's all dehydrated, it's black, but I went in for like a pain injection. It was like my third one. I got an older guy, and he goes, "I'm going to take care of you." That was over 10 years ago. I haven't had a problem since. So he must have shot me up good, but I feel it's stiff, occasionally, but I'm sorry to hear that, Karen. That's rough. Having a bad back, it ain't fun.
Okay.
But yeah, man.
So anything else that you feel good about, feel bad about?
What I feel good about is DeMarvion Overshown. I think he is way ahead of schedule. And he will be back mid-season. Again, I still want to go out and get a veteran linebacker. But, do not bet against that kid. I love his attitude. I love DeMarvion Overshown. We got to get him out of the number 13. That's a bad luck number, Michael Gallup.
My God. Yeah.
You got to get him out of that 13, Jerry. Stop with your bullshit. He needs to be Agent Zero. He was all over the field last year.
What do you think about Damone Clark? Again, another injured player that we drafted.
Yeah, well, Damone, if we cut him, we save 4.4. Bye-bye. See ya. I'm cleaning house, and I'm excited about the number of draft picks, but I will not be happy. I do think it's going to be different this year. I don't know why. but I don't trust Stephen Jones. That's what it is. I'm a little gun shy, but I do think it's going to be better. I think we're going to get a couple free agents. I'll be curious to see who we bring back between D. I would like to bring D Law back. I would like to bring yeah, Osa, and I would like Jordan Lewis. Obviously, we need to get our long snapper back. We have a couple restricted free agents that we got to bring back. There's a lot of work to be done. I don't understand why we have to wait for the combine. I understand why you do it, but I think they needed more of a sense of urgency. People go, oh, well, you got to wait. There's teams you're cutting people already. Mark, did you see that?
Yeah, yeah,
There's a
yeah.
lot of moves being made.
Well, this is the
So
time that everything starts happening.
yeah, so let's see if we go into next week and they've made some moves. Well, then that's a lot different than it's been.
So, according to Sports Track, D Law's market value is $12 million a year.
Okay.
What do you think on that?
How old is he? 32.
32.
So, like, would you take a 1 year, 12 mil, fully guaranteed? I mean, I would do that.
You'd be better off making it a 2 year and putting
Yeah,
incentives in it
or do
so
it
you can spread it out.
Yeah, you could do 2 year, 24 mil, something like that. Yeah, yeah, I'm down with that. I'm still drafting one if they're there. That's the thing.
Well,
I'm still drafting.
the thought was that Marshawn Nealon was going to be the heir apparent.
Well, I love Marshawn, but he's not necessarily. He was never a. He's more of a run stuffer. He can slide inside. I don't. He's not a big like bendy guy that can get to the quarterback. I mean, I think he is a high floor, low ceiling type of guy. He's never going to be a D-Law, in my opinion. It's just my opinion, though. I'm trading Dak ASAP and unloading that BS contract. Daz, he has a no trade, bro.
Okay. Hypothetically,
Fly Parks asked, can Eberflus fix the Cowboys defense? Not without players, Fly Parks. Not without players.
you can trade Dak, but you're going to
I
take
like
$103 million if you could get him to sign off on it. You'd take $103 million dead hit this year. If you make him a post June 1st, then you're going to end up spreading that out over 2 years. So
Now, how about at the end of next year? Look at that number. I think it's in the 60s. 67 or something?
61 million. Dead
61.
hit.
So, again, like I've been saying, not that they're doing that either, people. They're not. Expect at least 2 more years of Dak, but they could. They could, because Eagles have done it with Carson Wentz, I believe.
If he ends up agreeing to it.
Well, no, if you could release him.
Well, you can, okay, if you want to do that. All right.
At the end of next year, you can release him and take the $60-something million hit. They're not doing that, but I'm just saying they could. If he suffered a catastrophic hammy off the bone, and they're like, yeah, all right. Next year.
Let me remind people that Tyron Smith had the exact same injury and came back that same season, and the next year was all pro. And he didn't have, that wasn't his problem this past year. It was his knees and his back again and
Playing
elbow.
for the Jets was a problem.
Yeah. So
Wait, Dak. Oh, here we go. Wait, Dak is one major injury away from being done. That's the issue. He's getting older and more injury prone.
if you remember, there was a guy who had like his neck fused and a team gave up on him. And I believe he played in 2 Super Bowls and won one of them.
Right.
With fused vertebrae in his neck. And that would have been Peyton Manning. So you could say that Peyton Manning was, one catastrophic injury away from being paralyzed. And yet he took Denver to the Super Bowl twice. The second time, that really wasn't him. But still, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You could say every quarterback out there is one catastrophic injury away from being retired. That's the nature of the game. So what you do is get a running game, get your offensive line stout, and get them another weapon, and ride the pony while you can, and then plan on starting all over.
Bobby says, can Mark cook some smoked ham off the bone? Everybody wants to talk about off the bone. That's all your fault, Wade. You and your hammy off the bone. Oh God.
Yeah, I can cook some ham that the bone will just fall. Yes,
A
I
little
can do
ham
that.
hock, a little ham hock action.
Oh God.
Glazed smoked Dak ham. All right, here we go. People are getting ridiculous.
The hate
But
is in the
yeah,
air.
so it is what it is, man. But so yeah, so what's are you excited or what? You believe in what they're selling or what?
Hope for the best, expect the worst, and you'll never be disappointed.
Hope for the best, expect the worst. Man, that's a tough way to live.
But you're never disappointed.
Yeah,
But
I
here's
know.
the thing. Then if something happens, you're happy as shit. I mean, if we just stay healthier than we did last year, we'll be a better team than we were. We got a killer schedule, at least at the moment. But we know the NFL always turns over. You know, everybody's now anointed that the Commanders are going to be a great team for the next, lifetime and stuff, that they've turned the corner. But they could be this year's Giants.
Yeah, you hear the Giants has spoke to um Matt Stafford as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so. Well, actually, what happened was the Rams said he can go seek a trade, and now the Rams are saying we want you back. It's like why? Because I think Matt Stafford's probably better than Aaron
I
Rodgers
think
at
he's
this
definitely
point.
better. And he's not a team killer.
Actually, Matt Stafford played well in Philly in a driving snowstorm. Almost won the damn game.
I'm trying to understand that one. I don't understand that one at all. That,
Like they're
get
trying
rid
to
of
get away from a guy who won you
a
your
Super
only
Bowl.
Super Bowl. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just it's crazy. It is crazy. Definitely.
So I guess we shouldn't feel bad that people want to get rid of Dak.
No. No. It is what it is, man. You know what? This is it. This is the one thing I'll say, and I've been a little more critical than usual. Dak against the world, he normally bounces back. So if anybody can do it, I think he can do it. As far as having a good regular season, I'm not saying nothing about playoffs. It's all about playoffs, but
Playoffs? Don't talk about playoffs.
yeah. But after a 7-win season where he missed most of it, and we were in Dallas for the debacle with
Oh,
Cooper
jeez.
Rush. And that was another thing before we get out. That was another thing that I heard that I've been crying for. I want a young quarterback. I have a few names I like, not to take over the job, but to groom. You always want to have a young one in the system that has potential, God forbid.
You know,
And
you
I'm
know,
glad that they're doing that.
did it strike you? Okay, so when Stephen Jones threw Dak under the bus about his contract, and he said, we're gonna need to draft a young quarterback. My thinking is he's talking about a young quarterback to be the backup. The Dak haters out there are thinking, oh, we're drafting a quarterback to replace Dak.
It was
And you
never
got
that.
Michael Irvin out there saying, you need to draft a guy who's a running quarterback and everything else like Jalen Hurts. And some of the stuff Michael's saying lately, I'm kind of like,
Yeah,
Mike, you're
I
getting kind
get
of a
it,
little
man.
bit cray-cray there.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the like grease in his restaurant
Oh, man, don't go.
sinking into his
But
pores. I don't know.
But he's getting to be a little bit, but be that as it may, I was looking at that and saying, this is draft a young quarterback, so we're not spending $5.3 million for a third string quarterback. That was a complete waste.
There's a few quarterbacks in this draft you could get in the fifth round. I mean, I'd love to have a fourth round pick, but you know how that works. That have mobility, that have great arms, and I think you could get away with having them. Now, whether they would be the backup, I would like to have somebody else there. But look for Cooper Rush to end up in New Orleans. That's just my opinion. So that's good. We don't need him back. Maybe we have Will Greer and a rookie and Dak. It is what it is. If Dak goes down, your season's done anyway.
Right.
So it is what it is. I'm fine with that.
All right, so tomorrow you're starting at 3:00, right?
3 o'clock. I'll start at 3. Yep. I'll be getting off at 2. I'll come home and I'll fire it up.
All right, and I got to leave here at 6 a.m. myself tomorrow morning. Jeez, 2 days in a row on the road early before the sun comes up. But everybody, I appreciate everybody being here. If you haven't already subbed up to my man, Game Time Brian, who over the course of the last almost 2 years, year and a half, has grown remarkably, and I feel like a proud father.
Oh man, that's my guy, man. Mark Holmes is the man. Everybody loves Mark. Well, everybody hates him, but
Okay.
everybody loves or
Yeah.
hates him. But regardless, they're here for the show. Now, any more on the draft? I didn't think we were going. What's up, Vinny?
I kind of, how you've been married a long time, how you have to kind of approach things and all. And I think I got the look, like you're talking about the draft. So I'm not sure if I'll do that.
You told me we weren't.
I know, but I kind of was like, yeah, because our friends said, are you going to the draft this year? And I was like, it's kind of expensive in Green Bay. I said, although I do have a friend that's about an hour and a half away that maybe we can park. Wife gave me
we can't.
It's funny. Okay, I've been married a long time. But you know how you're always the first person blamed for everything, being the husband, right? So the other morning, my wife says the bathroom drain, the sink, is slow, and I said it's probably your hair that's gotten in there and slowed it down. And she turned to me and she's like, it's not. I don't brush my hair. I brush it out here in the main room. And I was like, oh. I said, so that explains the dust bunnies with all the hair. And she gave me the look. That's funny. So she said, no, it's from you shaving with all of your whiskers. I said, honey, my hairs are short. They're tiny. But I said, okay. So I unscrewed it. It's one of the pop-up ones, the new style ones. So I unscrewed it. And I'm looking down in there, and I got a Q-tip, and I hooked on the Q-tip, and I pulled out these long hairs. I was like, I pulled them out, and I was like, yeah, that's my hair.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But then I'm looking down there further, and I see something stuck in there. And I took the Q-tip, and I pulled it up, and it looked like it was plastic. And I rinsed it off, and it was a freaking fingernail.
Oh my God!
So, but of course, instantly it was.
Yeah. It was you
clogged it up. I didn't do it. It's like it's your freaking fingernail in your.
Yeah, it's a damn finger stuck in your pipe.
So she turned to me. I hate you.
Yeah.
I was right.
I didn't have it on film, hon.
That would have been a great YouTube video.
Yeah. Wife caught in the lie.
It is only 2 months away. And that with like the midair collisions, just about like it was another. I'm not flying there.
Threw me off the other day.
Yeah, and of course,
it's like we get sponsored. Okay, well,
I ain't heard back from those people that said we can sponsor you. It's kind of like Dan Salio saying, "Yeah, we're going to go ahead and do big things at training camp."
Your boy, and then Philly 500.
Look, Lola says you're about to get the couch. No, actually, I'm not because she's not here.
Yeah.
So I'll be sleeping good tonight. But I've been married long enough that she ain't going nowhere, and I'm not going anywhere either. It's just too much work. When I see all the relationships I see and these women out there, it's like, nah, I'll put up with that shit. I'm good. I am so good. All right, so Brian, I appreciate you being here, and appreciate everybody watching on Brian's channel and things. Everybody hit the like button on their way out, and we're gonna see. Hopefully, maybe we end up hearing sometime in the next few days that we actually got a deal done for Osa and Digazua, and the Cowboys are in negotiations with Micah. I can dream.
Yeah. I don't know what Stephen was talking about, how difficult it was. It doesn't seem to be that difficult. Just like it wasn't difficult for CeeDee Lamb last year. They made that contract out to be hard. We knew where it was going to end up, and I'm a mailman from South Jersey. I mean, like, what are we talking? We knew what it was going to be, and yet we waited. It was
the same thing with Dak too.
Deadlines make deals. It was BS.
Everybody said
every time I'm out
this time last year that Dak was going to be $60 million. And lo and behold, it was exactly $60 million.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's not rocket science, people. Just do it. Do it.
All right, good people. We are out.